Problemang legal, karapatan sa batas. Dito na, sa kakampi mo ang batas. Araw-araw, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 5 ng hapon, oras at araw sa Pilipinas.
Katarungan para sa mga mahihirap, kaalaman para sa mga kabataan, kaunlaran ating pagtulungan, kasama mo ang batas, kababayan ko. Kakampi mo ang batas, Pilipinas ko. Nandito na ang batas. Kakampi mo ang batas. Nandito na ang batas. Huwag kang matatakot, kakampi mo ang batas. Layunin maglingkod lagi sa bayang Pilipinas. Katarungan para sa mga mahihirap, kaalaman para sa mga kabataan, kaunlaran ating pagtulungan, kasama mo ang batas, kababayan ko. Kakampi mo ang batas, Pilipinas ko. Nandito na ang batas, kababayan ko. Kakampi mo ang batas, Pilipinas ko. Nandito na ang batas, kababayan ko. Kakampi mo ang batas, Pilipinas ko. Nandito na ang batas.
Problemang legal, karapatan sa batas. Dito na, sa kakampi mo ang batas. Araw-araw, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 5 ng hapon, oras at araw sa Pilipinas. Okay, all right. Thank God in His name of Jesus. Pahalak natin ang ating Panginoon at minsan pa, tayo po ay naririto sa ating palatuntunan, kakampi mo ang batas. Kami po ang inyong mga kakamping naglilingkod sa batas sa araw na ito ng, anong araw na ito? Huwebes na. Naku, kabilis talaga. Oo.
Thursday.
Huwebes po. Thursday. And it is September 10, 2020, oras at araw sa Pilipinas. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Samahan po nyo kami hanggang mamaya alas 8 ng gabi. Tawagin natin ang ating mga kasama. Good evening, DJ Philip Mauricio.
Yes, isang magandang gabi, Attorney Batas, Miss Elvira Gan. At siyempre, sa mga nanonood at nakikinig na po sa Kakampi mo ang Batas, dyan po sa Bukidnon Radio Power FM, sa Radio Dabang sa Carmen Cotabato, sa JFM sa Dangkagan Bukidnon, sa DXM JFM Sunrise News sa Sumilaw Bukidnon. At isang magandang araw po sa mga nanonood sa ibang dako ng mundo sa pamamagitan po ng Facebook Live at yung mga tigapanood po namin sa YouTube. Katulad nga po ng sinabi ng Attorney Batas, Huwebes na po, September 10. At syempre, umpisa na po ng isang oras na talakayan, pagliliwanag at pagbibigay ng kalaman sa mga bagay-bagay kaugnayan sa ating mga batas at atin ding tatalakayin ang mga kaganapan sa buong maghapon na magiging paksa po ng mga usapan sa kinaumagahan. Kung kayo po ay may katanungan o nais liwanagin o kayo may problemang legal, sumangguni po kayo sa programang Kakampi mo ang batas sa pamagitan ng pagtawag o di kaya pag-text sa mga numerong 0917-113-5017 at 0933-814-8263. Ako po si DJ Philip Mauricio. Samahan niyo po kami hanggang alas 8 mamaya.
Alright, maraming salamat, DJ Philip Mauricio. Kaya lang hinahanap nila yung DJ Philip Mauricio dyan sa iyong pangalan. Dapat daw nilalagay din para nang sa ganon, nakikilala nila ha? Yung iyong anong tawag dyan, meme. Pakilagay mo.
Ayan, nandiyan, no?
Yeah, pakilagay mo lang ha. I'll just remove you from the viewers view and pakidagdag mo lang ulit. All right. Magandang gabi, Miss Elvira Gan.
Yes, attorney. Good evening. Good evening, DJ Philip. Good evening, Judge Angie, and to all our viewers and listeners here and abroad. Good evening. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Rotary Club of Dasmariñas, Cavite for their successful handover last night, the handover of the baton of leadership from the champion president to the transformational president, from champion June Narciso to TP Veronica Cantimbuhan. And this afternoon, it was the turn of the Rotary Club of Imus East, from champion Bilet Villanueva to the transformational president Mirna Dacanay. Sobrang engrande yung kanilang, despite the pandemic situation natin, they were able to surprise everyone. Napaka-engrande ng kanilang celebration because it's also their 25th anniversary of their club.
Wow! Double celebration pala.
Double.
Rotary Club of?
Imus East.
Imus East, all right.
The club of the chairman of the past President's Council.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations po at sana ay tuloy-tuloy ang inyong paglilingkod. Okay, so marami po tayong aasahan ngayon. I think we're expecting some reports coming in likewise. I don't know if they can come in dito sa mga naglulokong internet connections. And I think this is a problem that is starting to bother many people, many organizations, and even many agencies of the government. But be that as it may, narito po ang inyong mga lingkod, Attorney Batas Mauricio, DJ Philip Mauricio, upang magbigay sa inyo ng mahigit isang oras, balitaan, talakayan, at pagkatapos, syempre, kalutasan sa inyong mga problemang legal. Maaari po kayong tumawag sa ating mga numero, 0977-805-9058 at saka 0933-825-1308. And you can also call us dito sa iba't ibang mga numero na naka-flash po sa inyong screen. Dito po sa scrolling ticker na ito na nakikita nyo sa inyong screen. So maraming salamat sa mga himpilan ng radyo. Mamaya na namin po kayo kikilalanin sa cable TV channels at syempre sa social media platforms. And I guess that we'll have to go ahead and look into the news right away so that I'm having some problems about my internet connection. And so I'm really having problems about getting back the news at tomorrow's news tonight. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the world, mga kababayan, narito po ang ating tomorrow's news tonight. Ms. Elvie.
Here are the headlines in our tomorrow's news tonight, September 10, 2020. On World Suicide Prevention Day, Commission on Human Rights warns of brewing mental health pandemic.
Oh, that's Commission on Human Rights. You didn't say Department of Health. But anyway, let's see the news. Right. You got it right. On the other hand, the Department of Science and Technology says select areas that have already been picked in Metro Manila, Calabar Zone, Cebu, and as COVID-19 vaccine trial zones dared today.
Yes, in some other news, stop government dole-outs to the poor. Online program urges. Now, here are the details. Coinciding with the marking of World Suicide Prevention Day, the Commission on Human Rights of all government agencies, warned on Thursday that a mental health pandemic is brewing as the government is busy finding ways to beat the new coronavirus disease, COVID-19.
As the government continues to prevent and treat the spread of COVID-19, a mental health pandemic is brewing, CHR spokeswoman Jacqueline De Guia said in a statement.
This problem is compounded by an increasing number of companies shifting towards work from home arrangements and the online delivery of classes. She added, certain individuals may feel overwhelmed, unable to find balance or routine in their life.
De Guia cited the National Center for Mental Health, or NCMH, has recorded an increase in suicide-related calls of 33 monthly calls from January to March 2020 to 66 in April, 80 in May, 112 in June, and 115 in July.
You know, I think the real issue here is this for real? Totohanan ba itong problema ng mental health pandemic? Are Filipinos even affected mentally or even psychologically by this pandemic? The way I see things, Miss LB, DJ Philip, at mga kababayan, parang okay-okay lang sa Pilipino. Hindi naman gano'ng katindi. Bagamat in certain areas, there are reports of suicides happening, especially among the young. What do you think? Yes,
I think they
exactly.
conducted a survey. Yeah, I think they conducted a survey, the CHR, and then the statistics showed that 84% of Filipinos were stressed because of COVID-19 pandemic.
That's exciting. That's exciting. What does this mean to you, DJ Philip?
Well, actually, my concern here is that even before this pandemic happened, may mga kaso na talaga ng itong mental health na to, no? And this is being discussed.
Alright.
In fact, yung isang pamangkin ni Virgie,
Yes.
nag-specialize siya. He's now in Newfoundland, Canada.
Okay.
And yan ang isang parang naging specialization niya, yung mental health na yan.
Yes.
So, kumbaga, meron na talaga, there are, especially young people, and they suffer this kind of disorder, mental disorder, something like that. And there are really cases reported na nagiging sanhi ng pagpapakamatay.
Itong pandemic?
No, not the pandemic, yung mental health. Yung pagkakaroon ng mental health disorder. So, ibig sabihin, nadagdagan nung nagkaroon ng pandemic. Because before kasi, at least yung mga youngsters natin, yung tinatawag na millennials, nakakagala-gala yan. They can meet friends, nakikipag-usap sila sa mga kaibigan nila, nagja-jamming. And yun, wala, they cannot go out. They're just within the confines of their homes. Talaga namang mabuburyong. So,
Yes.
anong tawag dyan? Parang lumala yung pagkakaroon ng
nadagdagan yung mental health concerns ng marami.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Ms. Elvie, is this a problem among our citizenry, or is this a problem for the government or for the country? What do you think?
It's a problem to, everybody, not only the government, but to all the people. Because as per the survey, they're attributing, the factors of, the people committing suicide because of their fears of getting sick. That I don't understand, because whether you commit suicide or not, we have the pandemic. If we get the virus, we will
get it no matter what.
And
Yes.
then, the second reason is the economic uncertainty, and the third reason is the prolonged isolation, social isolation. So those are reasons, no? They've given why these people are committing suicide, and the number of incidents rose every month, like 33 plus every month.
Yes, yes.
That's for this pandemic alone.
Right. Even before, that's correct. DJ Philip was correct in pointing that out. Even before the pandemic, we have been hearing reports of, well, not very many suicides as a matter of fact, but people having mental health problems, people breaking down, people being afflicted by this and that kind of mental disorders, schizophrenia, what else? ADHD, if that is a part of this. But, I have always been writing that mental health is actually directly connected with spiritual health. If a person, man or woman, old or young, is spiritually rooted, which means he goes to his church, he reads his Bible, he prays regularly, understands what are the commands necessary so that he can honor God and he can honor his fellow human beings, it's going to be very far from him having mental problems. That's what I've been asserting many, many times, several times in my column, Kakampi mo ang Batas, and in some other programs. And in fact, I have gone so far as saying that Miss LB, DJ Philip, mga kababayan, ang problema sa pag-iisip, konektado sa hindi pakikinig at hindi pagsunod sa mga kautusan ng Diyos. And you have specific Bible provisions on this. But let me see. What do you think? Can we equate this mental health problem to other things besides spiritual health or spiritual disease? What do you think?
Oh, well, yes, Attorney Batas, Miss Elvie. Alam mo, meron akong kakilala.
Mm-hmm.
I know of someone who claimed
Yes.
he has a mental disorder.
Uh-huh.
But when you ask him if he knows na when kumbaga the attack is coming in, yung bang
Yes.
maatakihin na siya nung pagkakaroon niya ng problema,
Mm-hmm.
he knows it.
Uh-huh.
He knows it. So I told him, if you know exactly when to hit you,
Yes.
then by all means, you can do something to counteract it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I am saying. Kasi alam mo na kumbaga parating yung kalaban mo,
Yes.
then you could do something about it. You can
Well.
prepare. Siguro hindi ko alam I am just talking from the point of view ng isang
Nandoon.
tao na medyo
Nandoon.
nagmamasid. Nagmamasid lang, oo.
Yeah,
So,
ang problema natin dyan, DJ Philip, hindi ganun kadali yung
Yun nga,
pagtugon.
kaya nga, Attorney Batas.
Mm.
Yun ang yun ang pananaw ko na pananaw ng isang nagmamasid nga lang. That's what I'm saying. Na tinitingnan ko. So, parang ang gusto ko lang sabihin dito, kung alam mo kung kailan na-atake yan, hindi ka ba pwedeng gumawa ng paraan? Or siguro you have to think of something happy.
Pleasant.
Pleasant, di ba? Maganyan, yes. Yes. Hindi ba pwede yung ganon?
I don't know. Let's ask Miss Elvie. Miss Elvie, what do you think? What can a person being bothered mentally, I mean, with all of these kinds of mental disorders, what can this person in particular do? From the point of view of an ordinary citizen, we cannot be psychologists, we cannot be psychiatrists, and therefore hindi tayo pwedeng magpayo. What do you think? Because that's going to be, we will ask our viewers about this. Ano sa tingin ninyo ang ipapayo ninyo sa isang tao na sa nagsasabing meron siyang problema sa isip? Anong dapat gawin? Tatawanan ba? O ano ba? Miss Elvie, as far as you're concerned.
Well, the question is kung tatawanan ba? No. Tayong mga tao, tatawanan natin yung may mga sakit sa pag-iisip? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yes.
Actually, the CHR people, they are encouraging people to go beyond, saying comforting words, but they're suggesting that we should be there. We should be there for this people who are suffering from mental illness. And sa akin naman, parang it's parang nasa atin na yung pagiging matulungin, especially
Mhm.
with cases na may mga tao talaga na wala sa
Yes.
pag-iisip. Nandiyan tayo para handang
Mhm.
tumulong. But
Yes.
sometimes it's also risky depending
Mhm.
on the level of craziness, I would say. You
Let's
know,
ask ni
so
Philip.
it's hard
Kung
also.
ikaw si Philip, ano ang ipapayo mo?
Sa akin, Attorney, that's like what I was saying. uh,
Yes.
try to do something about the situation. If you know something different is going to happen within a minute, 2 minutes, or what. Kasi kung alam mo nga yung atake, paglabanan mo. And I think that's the best that I can say, doon sa taong meron yan.
Except
Kasi,
tatanungin ka.
Oh.
Paano
Oh.
ba lumaban? Di ba? Paano ba lumaban? And so,
okay.
we don't have the answer today, DJ Philip. And that certainly calls for the experts out there to answer ano ba ang dapat ginagawa ng isang taong biglang tatamaan ng meron mga ganun kaba.
Meron. Yes. So,
Pero, DJ Philip, attorney, tanong ko lang sa inyong dalawa because I'm confused. Let's say, for example, ako yung may sakit, may mental illness. Malalaman mo ba talaga na ikaw ay may sakit? Di ba, refusing tayo maniwala na tayo may sakit.
Yun.
So, tanggapin na lang natin and do something about it because we would be insisting that we're good, we're okay.
Ms. LB?
Yes?
I like that. The person I'm referring to is not in any way in denial, what's that?
Denial mode.
Mode, yes. Inaamin niya
Oh.
Inaamin niya na meron siya. In fact, he is even bragging to the whole world. Sorry doon sa talagang pinagmamalaki niya na meron siya na ganung klase ng and that, ang sinasabi niya, we need to understand him. You need to understand me. You don't know what situation I am in. Kaya nga, ang gusto ko lang tanungin dito, Attorney Batas, sabihin dito, ano ba ang nararamdaman mo? Bakit ka nagkakaganyan? Ano ba yung naiisip mo?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I want to learn about that. So that, pag sinabi niyang naiisip ko ganito na wala akong pambili ng ganito, wala akong pambayad ng ganyan,
iba na klase yun.
Do something about it. Kung pagano,
you're using it na.
Ibang klase yun, DJ Philip. Anyway, all right. Kayong mga nanonood sa amin, mga kababayan, whether you're viewing us, watching us from the Philippines or from the other parts of the world, what do you think? What do you think? Must a person suffering this kind of a disease get public? Make this problem of his or her a public matter. Disclose it so that he can be assisted o sarilinin na lang. Tell us what you think. You write down your comments here at the video section or the live chat of Facebook so that we can read them maya-maya ng konti sa tinig ng taong bayan. In the meantime, Ms. LB, what's the next news?
Yes. Select areas in Metro Manila, Calabarzon, and Cebu will be designated zones for coronavirus disease vaccine clinical trials, the Department of Science and Technology said Thursday.
DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña said 6 trial zones, 6 trial zones will come from outbreak epicenter Metro Manila, while Calabarzon and Cebu will have 1 trial zone each.
The areas selected are those with high incidence of COVID-19 cases or barangays near them. Usually, it will require anywhere between 5 and 10 barangay for a trial, De La Peña said in a televised briefing.
According to Resolution 68 of the government's Interagency Task Force on COVID-19, the World Health Organization Solidarity Trial will be prioritized in the assignment of trial zones.
I think this is something that will be contested in the court, Philip. Because
You know,
sino tao pipilitin mo yan?
I don't know. And you know what, Attorney Batas, Miss Elvie, I just read a news from, I think, sa abroad dito eh.
Yes.
At pinatigil ang clinical trial because
Oh.
may problema sa parang titirahin niya yung spinal column ng tao. Where was that? I just read it this afternoon. I
Can
just
you
forgot.
check it out? And let's share screen.
Meron,
I mean,
meron. I read that. Oo. So, pinatigil yung trial na yan eh.
Maybe you can ask Jeremy to search it and then put it on your PowerPoint or what? Maybe here so that we can see it. Kasi that's going to be a very important point. The government, the Philippine government, has already decided that it will conduct these vaccination trials. You know, this is going to be in the nature of the dengue vaccine trials, which resulted in the death of thousands of young school children. And that's going to be dangerous. Don't you think so, Ms. Elvie?
It is, of course, attorney. But I think in other countries, trials are undergoing as we speak. You know, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, DJ Philip is delivering some very dangerous news here. I mean, if
Yes.
it's true.
Ito, I have
Yeah.
here.
Can you read it? Can you read it, DJ Philip?
Okay, sabi niya rito ha, AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine trial has been stopped after an illness. Oh, wait. Sabi niya, the whole
Right.
AstraZeneca placed Tuesday on its COVID-19 vaccine trials is the first major setback in pursuit of a vaccine against disease that has now killed 190,000 in the US and nearly 900,000 worldwide. One volunteer in a trial in the United Kingdom apparently developed a serious neurological problem after receiving the vaccine, though not much has been made publicly available about what happened.
Wow.
Ayan.
And they're keeping
Sa
it
ano pala
under
to?
wraps.
Sa United Kingdom, ha?
They're keeping it under wraps. Oh.
And with that,
very
I
problematic.
with case alone, it's being stopped already. Because if you try to compare, that incident with what we're trying to accomplish here to eradicate the virus totally. So I think that's too early to, to stop the trials.
Well, the bigger fear here, Miss Elvie, DJ Philip, and fellow Filipinos and fellow citizens of the world is when something like this is mandated by the government to happen, what is going to be the manner by which the guinea pigs or the people by which these vaccines will be tested is going to be chosen? How are they going to conduct a determination? How are they going to determine who among the areas, among the people living in Metro Manila, Calabarzon, and Cebu will be having this vaccine? Ato, pipilitin mo to.
Unless,
Really?
Attorney Batas,
Yes, DJ Philip.
unless it's being done on a voluntary basis.
It should be.
Because
Yeah.
can you put it parang obligatory ba?
Can you compel?
Yes,
Can you
it is.
oblige? Huh?
Can you compel someone or somebody to undergo this trial?
Yes, that's going to be very difficult.
You
Legal
cannot.
issue, DJ Philip.
Yes, you cannot.
Oh.
Not unless meron kang batas dyan na, oy, lahat ng tao kailangan mag-undergo ng trial. Pero in the absence of that, ano ang pagbabatayan ng gobyerno?
That's correct.
Diba?
And that's precisely the difficulty here. That's precisely the difficulty here. Sino ang ituturo mo para maunang matestingan ng vaccine? Di ba? Oh, ang hirap
Of
naman
course.
yan. Ang hirap. Ang gawin na lang nila, ibigay nila sa lahat ng Pilipino. Let's see what will happen. Di ba? Mahirap
well,
ito. Kagulo Pilipinas nito.
Oh, if they will do that, Attorney Batas, hindi ko
Problema
kukunin,
din
hindi
yan.
ko tatanggapin yan.
Kaya nga. Medyo delikado yan. Mahirap yan. Lalo na may mga ganong balita nagmumula sa abroad.
Yes. And you know what, Attorney Batas, they were saying, Miss Elvie, na the efficacy ng isang vaccine has to be tested, has to be made, I think several number of years. Mga 20 years pa nga minsan dyan, ha? So, hindi ganun kabilis yan. Oh. Hello?
True. Yes, we're here.
Attorney Batas.
Oh,
Nawawala
Attorney
si Attorney Batas
Batas.
ata.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Ikaw.
Attorney Batas is, nagkakaproblema.
Okay, so let's continue.
Yes, oo. So, yun lang ang sinasabi ko doon, Miss Elvie, no? Na,
Tama naman.
not unless there's a law that will compel anyone to undergo this clinical trial na to, teka muna.
Well, let's say, for example, this is voluntary, DJ Philip, no?
Yeah.
What if those people in charge of those of the trials that they're gonna conduct won't disclose to the people the negative impact, the negative effect?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
marami pa ding mag-volunteer. Because,
Correct.
you know, pag sabi siguro na ito, let's say, for example, 80% yung chance that you'll get better. You know, so marami
Correct.
pa rin siguro sakali.
Yes. Siguro, they just have to lay their cards on the table, so to speak, Miss Elvie, na
Yes.
ito, trial ito, and that may mga after effect ito na baka hindi maganda para sa kalusugan ninyo. Siguro something like that. And if that person is still willing to proceed with the trial, then by all means, go ahead, di ba?
Yes. Totoo.
So, medyo mahirap ito,
Just the same, we would like to welcome the views of our viewers. If they would want to participate in this discussion, kindly text your ideas, your whatever you can say about this issue. So we would welcome that. We will be reading your feedback later on the show.
Yes, oo. Kung ano po ba ang saloobin nyo doon sa gagawing clinical trial na yan, kung okay pa po sa inyong magpaturok o papano, ha? Kasi katulad po ng nangyayari sa dengue vaccine na yan, wala pa pong masyadong clinical trial, itinurok yan sa ilang daang libong tao, ha? So, Attorney Batas is on the line right now. Attorney Batas, what happened to you?
Ituloy niyo na yung news.
Yeah, sure. Sige. Okay. So, Attorney Batas is saying, let's go on with the news, Miss Elvie. So, the government should stop giving out dole-outs to the poor members of Philippine society and should endeavor instead to train our people to stand up on their feet for their survival. This was the consensus that was aired Thursday, September 10, 2020, by the panelists of the online morning show 21 Minutos during a presentation called Poor Government Response to Calamities and Tragedies by United Methodist Church Davao Bishop Rudy Juan.
Our government should not be contented giving our people the fish to eat in a meal. Instead, it should endeavor to teach Filipinos how to fish, the panelists concluded.
Go ahead, Ms. Elvie.
21 Minutos is a 21-minute live program running at www.facebook.com/Attorney Batas and in YouTube Mondays to Fridays, 7 a.m.
Aside from Bishop Juan, the program hosts include Pastor Jojo Gonzalez of the Capital Christian Leadership, Rod Cornejo, and Attorney Faith Takis of the Christian Leaders Association of the Philippines, and Attorney Batas Mauricio of the AND-KNK. Okay, so it's like a passage in the Bible, Miss Elvie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like teach
Yes,
the
that
people
one. Yes.
how to fish. Oo, wag mo silang bigyan ng isda. Kundi turuan mo silang mangisda.
Exactly.
Pero Miss Elvie, what's your take on this? Why is it that this group is advocating for the stopping of the giving out of dole-outs to the poor members of Philippine society?
Let
Well,
me
for
answer that.
Oh, okay.
Let me
Oh,
answer that. Okay.
okay. Sige, go ahead.
That's the program this morning, and as you can see, the program 21 Minutos has become a daily program, expounding on certain events and dwelling on the implications of this for the Filipino society and for the Filipino nation as a whole. And it was the consensus, TJ Philip, Miss LV, that teka muna, bigay tayo ng bigay taon-taon, bilyones pesos yung binibigay nating 4-piece dyan, dole out dyan. Kung humanap tayo ng po pwede nating maipanegosyo sa mga taong ito, imbis na binigay mo lang ng binigay, wala nang balik yung binigay mo eh. Taon-taon yan, bilyones ang ginagastos. That was the idea, DJ Philip, Miss LV. What do you think? Yeah,
Easier said than done, Attorney Batas.
DJ Philip?
Easier said than done.
true. That's true also. Yeah. Ideally, yes. Ideally,
Alam mo kung
dapat-
ang nagsalita nito, politiko, baka naman ako'y mabubuhanglit sa tawa eh. Kung politiko nagsalita, buti na lang, mga bishop ito eh.
Mga bishop sila. And, these are religious leaders, Christian Leaders Association of the Philippines, who are giving it without any no holds barred boxing, gloves off, and talagang bayan. And the consensus was, sayang yung pera na pinamimigay sa 4-piece, sayang yung pinamimigay sa kung ano-anong mga pantulong daw ng gobyerno. Kasi, nakakatiyak ka ba, Miss LV, DJ Philip, na lahat yun ay napupunta sa tao? Diba?
Actually, that's the idea. Kaya ginagawa ng mga politiko yan. Kasi
Ay, ikaw nagsabi niya, ha? Ikaw nagsabi niya.
So, it's true. Out of 100%, siguro
Right.
10-20% lang napupunta sa project, 80% sa bulsa nila. That's the point
Right.
there. Kaya hindi nila pwedeng ipamigay yan.
Hoy, makinig nga kayo sa gobyerno.
Sorry.
Grabe. Alam mo, kung nag-develop sila halimbawa ng mga irrigation system, mag-develop ng mga kung ano-anong mga dairy farm businesses at kung ano-ano pa sana, makakatulong pa sa Pilipino. Di ba? O di kaya humanap ng paraang magastos ng mas maayos yung taon-taon. Bilyones yan. I think we've reached about 8 billion already for this year. And DJ Philip,
Alam mo, Attorney Batas, kung magkano ba itong 4-piece na to?
magkano ba? Let's see. Let me.
Nasa 500 yata per family yan eh.
Tapos bilyones.
Peso.
Tapos bilyones.
Napakarami yata nung pur. Ano ba yun?
Ha?
Pati yung ano nila pur eh.
Alam mo,
Constituents nila pur. Oh.
all right. I have this news from November 28, 2019. And ang sinasabi niya rito, the Philippine government and the World Bank signed today a US $300 million loan to provide additional funding for the Philippines Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, a conditional cash transfer program currently benefiting 4.2 million households. And that's exactly what we are saying here. Sandali lang mga kababayan, bakit ba naman ganito yung nangyayari dito? Samantalang pwede namang gastusin yung pera na yan sa ibang mas produktibong kaparaanan. Tamo, nangutang po pala tayo last year ng $300 million, that's times 50, that's 1.5 billion pesos para ipamigay lang. Magkano interest doon?
It's not
Grabe.
surprising naman kasi sige lang naman tayong pang-utang ng pang-utang.
Yun na nga yung problema natin dito. This was what we were saying when we were discussing the 4.3 trillion budget proposal for 2021. Gobyerno, utang ng utang, tinatasan ng tinatasan, trilyones ng trilyones ang budget. But basically, about 40% of that would not go to developmental projects. Pambayad ng utang, ay grabe ka day, grabe ka dong. Sa ganyang klase ng ang ginagawa natin, di ba? Sayang lang. Alright, maraming salamat. That's tomorrow's news tonight. And abangan po ninyo, there are other segments. We're now going to bring in the events for the day with Pastora Kay Sobel. Magandang gabi po. Salamat sa Diyos sa ngalan ng Jesus. Pastora Kay
Salamat sa
Sobel.
Diyos, sa ngalan ng Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. And it's an honor for us again to share with all of you ano po yung ating mga events of the day. So, narito po ang ating mga events of the day. So,
Thank you.
ngayon po, we are actually commemorating our World Suicide Prevention Day.
O, kita mo na.
Ngayon po, September 10. Amen.
Yes.
Yes po.
Yes.
And every year, suicide is among the top 20 leading causes of death globally for people of all ages. It is
Wow.
actually responsible for
Wow.
over 800,000 deaths, which equates to one suicide every 40 seconds.
Yeah. Wow.
And yan po. So, for the World Suicide Prevention Day, we are enjoining everyone to light a candle near a window at 8 p.m. as a reminder to friends, colleagues, and loved ones to be aware of this mental health pandemic. Yan po yung una nating kino-commemorate today, ngayong September 10, 2020. And of course, ito naman po yung good news sa atin. We are also commemorating the day regarding the use of the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, which is the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator. It first started up on September 10 September 2008, and remains the latest addition to the European Center for Nuclear Research Accelerator Complex. The LHC consists of a 27-kilometer ring of superconducting magnets with a number of accelerating structures to boost the energy of the particles along the way. Ano po ba significance nitong teknolohiya na ito? Actually, the best-known CERN technology is the World Wide Web. Ito po yung kanyang result. Amen. And this was invented to allow an ever-increasing number of scientists to share information. For many of us today, life without the web seems inconceivable.
It
So the
is.
Large Hadron Collider has indeed opened up advances in quantum computing. So salamat po dito sa technology nito, because we now have the World Wide Web, or yung ating internet. The LD Attorney Batas. So this is our events of the day with Pastora Kay. Maraming salamat po, and have a blessed good evening sa ating lahat.
Maraming salamat. Thank God in His name of Jesus. Pastora,
Amen.
Kay
Thank
Sobel,
God in His name of
events
Jesus.
the day,
Amen.
in Kakampi mo ang batas. Wow, kita mo yung coincidences. Buti na lang nag-report ka, Pastora Kay, about the World
Amen.
Suicide Prevention.
Suicide Prevention Day. Yes, amen po. At ang iba pang detalye, malalaman po nila sa ating upcoming Good Morning Kadugo Show sa www.andknk.ph.
Right.
Maraming po salamat again, and salamat sa Diyos sa ngalan niyang Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Salamat po. That was Pastora Kay Sobel for you with events of the day. Maraming salamat po. And we now continue with the other parts of the program. Salamat po. Thank you. And now, bati muna tayo, mga kasama. I think maaga ang bati natin ngayon. And, DJ Philip?
Ito lang. May binabasa ko mga comments dito sa program natin. And ito yung it caught my attention from Lorelai Justin Baste Paloma. Sabi niya rito, suicidal tendencies happen po because of stress and anxiety.
What is that?
With pandemic nowadays, it definitely contributed to the anxiety level of a person. Dami po nega na naiisip. Dagdag pa ang family background and all. A lot of things and situations contributed to suicide cases. Tama po kayo.
DJ Philip, can you put that on screen? DJ Philip, can you put that on screen? You can do it.
Hindi ko mapo. Paano ko ilalagay? Wala sa akin dito eh.
Miss LV, can you put...
Screen yan.
Just a moment. That's very important.
Ikaw lang may ano yan. Oo, ikaw lang nakakita.
No. Everybody, the three of us is supposed to see this one.
Pero sa Facebook na namin makikita yan, Attorney Batas.
Yan na.
I'll give you an idea muna about Miss Lorelai.
Yes,
she's
please.
She's the director of the Student Affairs and Services of Southern Leyte School of Arts and SLSU, Southern Leyte State University.
Kaya pala.
Yes.
Opo. Can we get you online? I can send you the link, Miss Lorelai, so that we can get you online and let's discuss this some more. You know, the board of editors of Kakampi mo ang Batas didn't realize it's World Suicide Prevention Day. It's good that Pastora Kay came in and gave us that events of the day, and gave some more depth to this news about suicide concerns in the Philippines brought about by the pandemic. But can we see this again? Ms. Lorelai Justin Baste Paloma, Yes.
Yes.
Miss
Um,
Elvis, can you read this? Okay.
which one is that? I can see, attorney.
Oh, suicidal tendencies happen po because of
Nasa
stress,
screen,
Ah,
Miss Alvin.
right? This is the
yes.
next. With pandemic nowadays, it is definitely contributed. It definitely contributed to the anxiety level of a person. Dami po nega na naiisip, dagdag pa ang family background and all. A lot of things and situations contributed to suicide cases. Wow, that's exciting. Let me see if there are other comments. Counseling from an expert should be done. The case may vary from person to person.
It's
Yes,
true.
that's what she's saying. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And the program of the government is very good and helpful, but some of its recipients are abusive. I think dito na yun sa 4 piece. Now, let's get back to a few points. It's a good thing you called our attention to it, Dito Philip. Una ha, yung sinasabi niyang because of stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety. Well, we all know kung saan nanggagaling ang stress and anxiety. When there's too much pressure from family, from peers, from work, and from many other sources, kakaroon talaga ng stress. Nagkakaroon ng anxiety. Yung anxiety, how do we define anxiety? Ano sa Tagalog mo?
Excessive worrying, excessive
Aha.
thinking.
Aha.
Tama po ba, Madam Lorelai?
Aha. Excessive worry and excessive thinking. Yeah, pagkabalisa in Filipino, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pagkabalisa. Nababalisa masyado tao. Natatakot masyado ang tao. Yan.
Yes.
Yan. Yan yung problema natin talaga dito sa ating daigdig sa kasalukuyan. Yung paano mong hindi ka mababalisa, ano ba dapat gawin? Di ba? Ano ba dapat gawin? Yung po yung medyo dapat sigurong itinuturo sa ating mga kababayan sapagkat medyo lahat tayo mukhang hindi nakakaalam nito Ito, I'm putting it on a screen para nang sa ganun makita nating lahat. There is something here and let me put it on screen para nang sa ganun mabasa nating lahat. Because it is a good advice in the light of what Miss Paloma has told us. Let's see. Let me remove that and come up with the banner. Tingnan natin. Here. I think we can read it now. Huwag kayong mabalisa tungkol sa anumang bagay. Sa halip, hingin ninyo sa Diyos ang lahat ng inyong kailangan sa pamamagitan ng panalangin may pasasalamat. Marami po magsasabi na hindi nila maunawaan to. Pero simple lang. Sabi niya, huwag kayong matakot. Saan? Alin? Para saan ka matatakot? Kahit sa anong bagay daw, yan po yung nakalagay sa screen. And this is taken from Filipos 4:6 ng Biblia. Ano daw ang dapat gawin? Sa halip, hingin ninyo sa Diyos ang alin? Ang lahat ng inyong kailangan. So instead of worrying, instead of having fears in your life, instead of thinking, tatamaan ba ako o hindi, instead of worrying kung mababalik pa ba ako sa trabaho, hindi, o the normal that I knew of would still return, do not. You ask God to return it to you. And if it is in His will to do it, book. Yun yung maayos dyan. Di ba? Yan ang pinakamaganda riyan. Maraming salamat po sa mga komentaryo. Maraming salamat. I promise that ito lang yung mga ilalabas natin, mga ganitong comments sa discussion of the issues. And so, ito lang yung makikita nyo ngayong araw na to. Although, nakalagay na po kayo sa Facebook. Sa Facebook. Alright, okay. Sana tayo, DJ Philip.
Okay, alas 7:27 na po. Ito muna, maraming salamat. Stephen Hongko, kay Leo Mamaradlo, kay Benjo Uson, kay Julius Hongko na nagdiriwang ng kanyang kaarawan ngayon. Kay John, happy birthday
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And then kay Cornelio Riototar, kay Laime Pakada, kay Jojo Bathan, kay Lucio Lazaro Ibanez.
Yes.
And then sabi ni Stephen Hongko, shout out daw, nanonood, nakikinig sila ngayon. Magandang gabi. Stephen, yung problema mo let's have a discussion regarding that. And then kay Ronald Arojo, kay Ina Guevara, kay Brian Latuskin. Brian, tagal tagal kita hindi nakita. Okay,
Nasa ka
Ina
na,
Guevara.
Brian. Konsel,
Oo.
Nangampanya ka na.
Parang nagkita na tayo sa kalye.
Oo. And then kay
Nakalimutan ko lang dito.
Alicia Rodriguez Bambico, kay Joy Lintuan, kay Maricel Austria, kay Ina Guevara, nabanggit ko na.
Nabanggit na. Si Tita Ina Guevara. Yes.
Yes, maraming salamat po sa inyo, ha?
Okay.
Kayo pa rin po ay nakikinig at nanonood sa Kakampi Mo ang Batas, sa Facebook Live, sa Radyo Dabang, sa Carmen Cotabato, sa Bukidnon Radio Power FM, sa JFM, sa Dangkagan Bukidnon, at sa DXMJFM Sunrise News, sa Sumilaw Bukidnon, at syempre sa YouTube. Kasama pa rin po nyo si Attorney Batas Mauricio, si Miss El Vigan, at ang inyong lingkod, si DJ Philip Mauricio. Tuloy-tuloy na, Batas.
Sandali
Teka
lang,
muna.
babati din kami. Babati kami.
Babati.
Go.
Bayan, hindi makabate. Okay. Si Mr. Ben De Paz, si Ma'am Loida Vitor Flores, si Miss Elvira Tiracon, si Mate, ASP Mate Leonora Bowardi, si Mr. Monsantos, si Miss Nena Gasmin Mesa, si Miss Marita Landicho, cousin ko si Rodel Olvina, si Miss Sandra Felnar Belieza, of course, yung ating correspondent, si Mr. Bobot Bugarin, si Mr. Army Beltran,
Miss.
and of course, si Geraldine Igamaw, ang ating suki, ang ating kasama parati, si Maris Evalia Maramara Araujo, and ang ating director ng Student Affairs and Services of Sugod Leyte State University, Miss Lorelai, Director Lorelai Hustimbaste Paloma.
Maraming salamat. Kasama na natin si Ginoong Sherwin Marcowi, si Ginoong Leo Mamaradlo, si Ginoong Benjo Uson is watching with us. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. At Miss LV Terante Simacon is also watching. Maraming salamat. And of course, who else? Pastor Arcelia Manzano.
And Rotayan, si Len Hao. Kaklab mo siya, attorney.
Narito siya? Mayong gabi, Rotarian Len Hao.
Mayong gabi.
Di ba siya? Di ba siya Bisaya? Si Len Hao?
Tagalog siya. From Cavite.
Maraming salamat, Len Hao. Kalat mo naman sa Rotary. Para nasa ganun maglalagay kami dito ng Rotary Hour. We're going to come up with Rotary Hour where Rotary clubs which have already accomplished so much under the transformation team. Ano nga ang tawag ng team nila ngayon? Doors opens
opportunities.
Oo. Kaya ang tawag sa kanila transformation president. Sige po, any transformation president from Apari to Sulu. If you're already ready, you put your Rotary Club here and then your phone number and then the transformation president, I will call you. So we can set this up including your share screen for your PowerPoint. Ito yun, public imaging. You can already comply with your public imaging here. Okay? Dalawa kaming ex-SDGs na nandito. Let's see what will happen. Di ba? Di ba? At saka yung isa, prospective Rotarian, Philip Mauricio. Di ba? Arman Rulo is watching.
Naubo ako ron.
Mr. Henrico. Mr. Henrico, maraming salamat. Sana nga po makasama namin kayo. Alright, okay. Any more?
Tapos na? Tapos na ba yan?
Wala na ako nakikita.
Okay, ito muna. Happy birthday muna. Yet, Buenaventura Eliazar, who is celebrating her T5. T5 na siya. T5.
Okay.
25 yan. 25, oo.
Okay.
Yet, happy birthday, ha?
That is nice, when you want to hide your age.
Oo.
That's it. T45.
Okay.
Let me just, hindi mo na bati
Sino?
Si Alicia Rodriguez Bambico. Did you mention her?
Oh, yeah. I greeted her, siyempre.
Okay. I saw her name. All right. Thank you very much. Donguines Serset is watching us. I really don't know whether this is your real name, but thank you for watching us. Please share now. Lahat po ng nanonood, can we ask you, please share this video now. 1, 2, 3. Pindutin si share button.
Oh.
Then right post. Post mo. Ayan. Salamat po. Alright. Dako na tayo sa ating mga... Well, tapos na tayo dito. Diba? Tapos na tayo dito. Yan. Tapos na tayo dyan. Diba? Tinig ng taong bayan. We're already through. So we go to this. Okay. Tama-tama tayo sa oras. Sambayan ng Pilipino. Naay pangutana? Oh, mangutana na kamo. Oh, di ba? Okay ba? Okay ba? Sige, magtanong na sila. DJ Philip.
Yeah. Ito na.
Okay.
Sabi niya rito, magandang araw po, Attorney Batas.
Magandang araw po.
May dalawa po akong anak sa live-in partner ko. Nirecognize niya yung mga bata. Nakasign siya sa birth certificate pero gusto niya, apelyido niya yung dadalhin. Kaso, hindi ako pumayag kasi hindi pa naman kami kasal.
Aha.
Ang tanong ko po ay, pwede po bang gamitin ng mga anak namin yung apelyido ng ama kahit hindi pa kami kasal? O kailangan makasal muna talaga kami? Okay, galing po sa numerong 0917-339-7949.
Alright. Maraming salamat po. Alam po ninyo, hindi na po problema yung ganyang sitwasyon. Ano? DJ Philip, mga kababayan, Miss LB. Kahit po hindi kasal ang nanay at tatay, po pwede nang isunod ang apelyido ng bata sa tatay. Pero kailangan yung pumayag. Nanay, kailangan yung pumayag. Kasi pag hindi kayo papayag, ay walang
Hindi raw siya pumayag. Ito yung batas eh.
DJ Philip.
Hindi raw siya pumayag eh. Sabi niya, ayan
Ay wala na, tapos ang kaso.
Bakit?
Pagka hindi pumayag ang nanay,
Pumayag.
the father, not for any reason, can ask the court. He cannot. Kailangan kasi may pagsang-ayon. Because right now, under the law, bago pumasok si Ramon Revilla Sr., yun, alam siya.
Malangit nawa. Sumalangit nawa po.
Kaya sumalangit nawa ang kaluluwa. He did something very well. He did something very good for illegitimate children because he came from the Republic Act 9255. That's the Philippine Paternity Law. Kahit hindi kasal si nanay at si tatay, kung gusto ni tatay sa kapahintulutan ng nanay, na ibigay ang apelyido niya sa kanyang mga anak sa labas, anak sa ilihitimo at kung ano-anong anak pa yan, pwede, kinikilala na ngayon sa kasalukuyan. Pero kailangan po ng pagsang-ayon ni nanay. Mag hindi kumain si nanay. Tapos, yes, Miss LB.
Yes, but in this case that DJ Philip mentioned, I think the mother didn't approve of that suggestion from the father because she didn't know, hindi niya alam na pwede bang gamitin na because hindi pa sila kasal. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Hindi niya alam na? I'm sorry.
No, I think baka hindi lang niya alam because she's asking nga kung pwede ba because hindi, ang reason niya, hindi pa sila kasal. So sabi niya, hindi pa niya pinahintulutan because hindi sila kasal. So I guess, dapat malaman niya na pwede pala.
Pwede. Pag pumayag siya. Okay?
Okay.
So, pwede po pag pumayag kayo, nanay. That's what I've been saying. Pwede pag pumayag kayo. Pero pag hindi kayo pumayag, ang katayuan kasi ng batas, bago pumasok si Ramon Revilla Sr. Law, yung Philippine Paternity Act, Republic Act 9255, the mother has the absolute right to give her family name to their children, to children born out of wedlock. Mga batang sinilang, talabas ng kasal, mga batang sinilang na hindi kasal ang mga magulang, apelyido ng nanay ang dapat gagamitin. Ganun po yun. Pero pumasok ang Revilla Law, so ngayon, ano nangyari? Pag pumayag si nanay, yung tatay po pwede na niyang ipagamit ang apelyido. Ganun po ang mangyayari dyan. Okay? Sige. Right. Ano pa? DJ Philip?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Attorney Batas, since na hindi niya alam, palagay ko hindi niya alam yung batas na yon, kaya nga sinasabi niya hindi siya pumayag. So, anytime, kasi napagawa niya na ito eh. Kumbaga, meron na siyang birth certificate ng mga anak niya, nakapangalan sa kanya. So, ano ang pwede niyang gawin para mailipat sa pangalan o sa apelyido ng tatay?
Yan. Kakailanganin nga niya mag-file ng mga sumusunod na dokumento. Saan ipa-file? Hindi na po sa husgado, mga kababayan. hindi na sa husgado. Saan ipapile? Local Civil Registrar's Office kung saan isinilang si bata. Alright? Ano
Pero
kanyang... Right. Miss Elvie?
mabilis lang ba yung sinasabi mo? Madaling gawin lang ba yun?
Yan.
Okay. Ito patingnan mo muna to ha. Ang mga dokumentong kailangan para maisampa sa Local Civil Registrar's Office, LCRO, yung sinumpaang salaysay ng tatay na inaamin niya. Inaamin niya. Na inaamin niya yung pagiging tatay niya nung bata. Sa English, this should be an affidavit of admission of paternity. Sunod, pwede rin siyang gumamit ng private handwritten instrument. Ano yun? Sa isang sulat niya sa nanay, sinasabi niya, mahal ko kayo talaga, kaya kahit hindi tayo kasal, dahil ako'y meron ng ibang ganito, meron ng ibang gano'n, may nauna na akong pamilya, at hindi pa na ano lang kasal ko dyan, pwede kong ibigay ang aking apelyido sa mga anak natin. Pwede na yon. Ganun yon. So, kakailanganin itong mga dokumentong ito. Kakailanganin itong mga dokumentong ito. Okay? Alright?
Pero Attorney Batas,
Yes, DJ Philip.
yung lalaki may asawa. May
Okay.
legal wife. Okay?
Yes.
Nagkaanak siya ng out of wedlock sa isang babae.
Alright. Okay.
Pwede pa rin gamitin ng mga bata yung apelyido ng tatay, Attorney Batas?
Pwede, DJ Philip. No
Pwede pa
problem.
rin.
Yes.
Basta
Basta-
may asawa yung tatay.
Yes, basta pumayag si tatay, pumayag yung nanay ng mga bata na hindi yung tunay na asawa ni lalaki, o pwede na maipalitan ang pangalan ng bata. Niluwagan nga, DJ Philip, niluwagan ng gusto ito.
Yes.
Kasi ang operating act lang dyan. Meron yata magsasalitang judge dito. Alika nga dito, judge. At ano? Lakas mo. Lakas mo.
Naman pag-agamit ng apelyido mo.
Ito na tayo. Ito na.
Ng concubinage o anumang illegal na ginagawa ng lalaki. Ikaw naman lalaki ka.
Ano daw? Hindi na marinig.
Sandali na. Anyway. Gusto ng tatay.
Gusto, yun yung itanong ko sana, attorney, kasi with the father allowing the children na yung illegitimate na mga bata na gamitin yung pangalan niya, hindi ba yan parang ebidensya of his being unfaithful?
Well, just like any other marital offense, Miss LV, even the offense of unfaithfulness can be cured over time. And secondly, by a definite act of contrition on the part of the man who will admit that, he committed a mistake in the past. Who are we to say hindi niya dapat gawin ang pagsasayos ng mali niya nung nakaraan? Ganun yun. And if he's man enough to face up to the consequences of admitting na nagkaanak sa iba, di okay na lang yun. Wala namang problema.
So, walang legal obstacle yun, Attorney Batas.
Ang sinasabi ko rito, pagpaparehistro, yung pagpaparehistro, DJ Philip.
Yes, pagpaparehistro, yes. Oo.
Walang legal obstacle.
Wala.
Basta mahalaga
He's
na.
not committing
Ang
any
mahalaga,
unlawful, ha?
DJ Philip, ang mahalaga, pumayag si nanay, pumayag si tatay.
Yes.
His biological parents. Yun ang pinaka-kailangan dyan. Okay?
Okay.
Pero to
Nice.
make it safe, dapat pumayag din si wife nung lalaki. Para walang problema na talaga.
I'm sorry.
Kasi
I'm sorry, wala po sa batas yan. Wala sa batas yan, Miss Elvira. I'm not legislate into the law. I will wait until you become Congresswoman Elvira Gan. And let's see. Sabi ko, nananakit ang tenga ko rito. Let's move on.
Okay.
Kayo muna dyan. Ako iinom lang ng tubig. Sandali lang. DJ Philip.
Abay, may katanungan ako, Attorney Batas. Saan ka napunta? Ito katanungan nating susunod, Attorney Batas.
Yan.
Sabi niya rito, ang tanong niya, magandang tanghali po, Attorney Batas. Maaari po bang habulin ang desisyon ng aking ina na ipamana sa aking kuya ang kanyang lupa o may written affidavit po siya. So, ibig sabihin nito, Attorney Batas,
Oh,
yung lupa, ipinamana lang sa kanyang kapatid. So, po pwede ba niyang habulin? Ha?
well, katulad ng matagal na nating sinasabi, Miss LB, DJ Philip, sa totoo lang, basta't yan ay mga ari-arian ng mga magulang, may karapatan ng magulang gawin kung ano man ang kanyang nais gawin sa kanyang mga naipundar na ari-arian. The children will have nothing to do absolutely about how his parents will dispose of the properties while the parent is alive. Yun ang operative act dito. You pay attention to that. While the parent is alive, he can do anything he wants with his properties. He can sell it, he can mortgage it, he can assign it, he can donate it, in fact, to anyone he fancies. Now, the big problem there, at usually ito yung problema ng mga nagbibigay ng mga lupa sa pamamagitan ng donasyon sa kanilang mga anak. Because when the parent who donated the property dies and the other children did not receive inheritance similar to or equal to the value of the property that was donated to one child, even when the parents were still living, po pwedeng maghabol yung mga kapatid para bawasan yung naidonasyon. Yun ang gagawin dyan. Ang tawag dyan, all of these properties of the parents that have been donated to the children will be collated. What is collation under succession law in civil code? Collation is the act of gathering all the assets of the parents that are still available for disposition, and even if already disposed, would still form part of the inheritance of the children. Kasama dyan yung mga naidonasyon sa mga anak nung nabubuhay pa yung mga magulang. Kaya ang payo ng kakampi mo ang batas, kung magdodonasyon din lang kayo, mga magulang sa inyong mga anak, gawan nyo ng deed of sale. And then pay capital gains tax. Yun ang pinakamaganda ron.
Ayun. Palalabasin ibinenta.
Palalabasin ibinenta lang. Kasi kung hindi, DJ Philip, malaki problema ng donasyon. Because a donor is supposed to have sufficient properties not only for his livelihood, support and sustenance while he is alive, pero lalo na para maipamahagi sa kanyang mga anak pag nawala na siya. Ganun yun.
Although, Attorney Batas,
yes,
itong mga kasong ito ay nangyayari talaga, no?
Well, of course, yes, they do.
Yung mga ganyang klase ng bigayan ng mana sa mga anak. Pero, ang may papayo ko lang, ito sa isang non-lawyer, yun, dun po sa mga magulang na gustong magbigay o magpamana na sa mga anak, pamanahan nyo na po lahat. Huwag yung isang anak lang, huwag yung paboritong anak lang po ang bibigyan nyo ng mana. Bigyan nyo po sila pare-pareho. Kasi unang-una, mga anak nyo pong lahat yan eh. So, wag po kayong mamili. Yan ang advice ko dyan sa mga magulang na gustong magpamana sa kanilang mga anak.
But in our country, there's no problem about that because it's our common practice already. Whether salbahe yung anak mo or mabait sa'yo, basta anak mo, pinapamanahan mo lahat. We're not like in other countries na talagang pwede nilang tanggalan ng mana pag salbahe yung anak nila.
Pwede rin naman dito yan, Miss Elvie. Ang tawag dyan, disinheritance. Pagka yung anak...
But I'm just saying, in connection to what DJ Philip said about yung pamanahan lahat.
Yes.
And may question ako. Kasi sabi mo, as long as buhay yung parent or parents, may karapatan siya kung anong gawin niya sa mga ari-arian niya. Now, let's say for example, parents nga, so the husband died, naiwan yung mother, tapos may mga anak. Pag nagbenta ngayon yung mother ng property, kailangan ng signature ng mga anak ba? Para doon sa mana daw nila, galing sa father nila, is that right?
Correct. Kailangan ng signature ng mga anak. Pagka yung isang magulang na lang ang natira at i-dispatch sa yung mga ari-arian ng magulang, ng tatay at nanay, kailangan na yung pirma ng mga anak para magkaroon ng visa, yung bilihan ng ari-arian yan. Alright?
Okay.
Let's get back to the question ni Pastor Kay. Sabi niya, question, sa pag-amin ni tatay na mayroon talaga siyang anak sa labas, Hindi ba ito ground para masampahan din ang kaso si tatay? Yun po yung tanong kanina ni Miss LV. At yun din yung tanong ni Judge Angelina. Pero may ibubulong ako sa inyo, mga pakinig tagapanood. Kaya para hindi no, ito. Ito po. I-disclose ninyo pagkatapos ng 10 taon matapos isilang yung bata.
Yun.
After this, pasuna yung krimen.
So may expiry date yun.
Narinig mo? Narinig mo, Miss LV, binulong ko? Talaga naman, oo.
Loud and clear. 10 years.
May prescription pala, Attorney Batas, ano? Nagpa-prescribe pala yan.
So, ganun yun. So, anyway, yun po yung sagot doon, mahal na Pastora Kay. Alright. Ito, DJ Philip, para naman medyo masiyahan ka. Yeah. Very well.
Share.
Ikaw share dapat. Ito mga itong comment ang gusto namin dito. Next time, wala na pati, ha?
Salamat po, ha? Madam Maris Evale.
Si Maris, nandyan talaga siya.
Maris Evale Maramara Araujo. Si
Maraming salamat po.
Nena
So
Gasmin.
one of the pwede siyang tumawag dito or something para mas masaya. Live.
Of course. Sino pa to? Ito. Sabi ni Maris. Naku po, payag ka na po nanay na paggamit ang apelyido ng asawa mo para may habol ka. Okay naman. Pati rito si Judge sumasagot. Sandali lang, dito ka muna. Gusto mo, kasama ka namin dito. Ewan na ha. Ano sabi niya? From Oman daw. Kasin pala nila, nila kadugong Nena Gasmin Mesa. Salamat po, Dongines Serset from Oman, all the way from Oman. Maraming salamat. Yan. Bumabati na yung mga listeners natin sa mga reporters natin. Sige. Alright, maraming salamat po. Sige na nga, ilabas na muna natin to. DJ Philip, sandali lang. Alright. Okay, yan pala naman, nandiyan si Len Hao. While you're remaining as beautiful as ever, Miss Len Hao, maraming salamat. There are only few lady Rotarians who can do that. Aside, of course, from my wife, All-Star President Angelina, and of course, ASP Elvira Gan, and all ASPs. Parang wala kayong question sa amin.
Yes.
Manood kayo sa amin, ha? Manood kayo sa amin. Yan. Sige. Alright, okay. Sige. DJ Philip, diretso na tayo.
Yes. Ito.
Next.
Ito, sabi niya. Magandang hapon po, Attorney Batas. Merong tumatawag. Nasa programa po kami.
Yan.
Nasa programa po. Mamaya na kayo tumawag.
Sandali lang, kadugong ram, ha? Nasa telepono siya. But anyway, sige.
Okay. Sabi niya rito.
Ang tanong niya.
Magandang araw po, Attorney Batas. Gusto ko lang pong itanong kung maibebenta ang aming lupa at bahay.
Yes.
Paano po ang hatian namin kasi may stepmother kami. Kasal siya sa ama namin at may isang anak sila. 4 po kami.
Pasensya ka na, naagaw ang atensyon ko ni Glenn Bagarinaw sa kanyang tanong na pumasok dito. Sa akin yata yung Pakiulit lang. I'm really sorry about it. Meron siyang tanong. Unahin ko na muna to, ha. Pumasok. Sabi niya, good evening po. I think nanonood siya rito, ha. Ask lang po if ever po ba yung respondent padadalhan ng summons sa barangay tapos ayaw pumirma ng respondent, ano po maaaring mangyari? Alam po nyo. May nasaling kasi sa akin dito, DJ Philip, Miss Alvira, mga kababayan. Bakit? I have been questioning this local government code of 1990 ever since. Inalis po kasi dyan, sa batas na yan, yung nilagay ni Marcos sa Presidential Decree 1508 na pag hindi humarap sa respondent o yung ipinagre-reklamo sa barangay, sa patawag ng barangay, nawawalan siya ng karapatang dumipensa. Pag sinampahan siya ng kaso sa husgado, yung ipinatawag ng barangay na hindi iginalang yung barangay, hindi na siya pwedeng magdepensa kahit sa kaso sa hukuman. Ang problema, inalis yan sa Republic Act 7160. Republic Act 7160. So ginawang, walang kakwenta-kwenta ang barangay justice system kasi pwede nang baliwalain pala. Kasi tinanggal na yung ganong kapangyarihan ng mga barangay courts. naalisin ang karapatan ng ipinapatawag na hindi haharap sa kaso sa ano pa mang kadahilanan. O yan, Glenn, nakuha mo na. Pag hindi siya humarap, edi wala lang, sampahan mo na lang ng kaso para doon na lang kayo maglaban sa husgado. Alright, DJ Philip, one more time. Nawala naman si DJ Philip. Did you hear what...
Ito. Ha?
Oo. Ulit.
Sabi nga rito, Attorney Batas.
Yes.
Okay.
Gusto ko lang itanong kung maibebenta ang aming lupa at bahay. Paano po ang hatian namin kasi may stepmother kami? Kasal siya sa ama namin at may isang anak sila. So, 4 po kami.
Alright. Hindi nakalagay dyan, DJ Philip, Miss LV, mga kababayan, kung kanino napundar.
Sino
kaninong
Kung sino nagpundar, Attorney Batas?
Alin,
Yes.
DJ Philip?
Kung sino ang
Kung
nagpundar?
kasama ba-
Kung sino ang nagpundar?
Kalimbawa, yung lalaki, constant yan, ano?
Yes,
Naipundar ba niya sa unang asawa niya? O
Yun.
naipundar
Yes.
sa dalawang asawa?
Yan.
Yes.
Okay, Attorney Batas.
Yes, DJ Philip.
Una, naipundar dun sa unang asawa.
Hmm.
And then, sagutin mo rin, pangalawa, naipundar dun sa pangalawang asawa. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Ang hatian dyan, may share yung bagong asawa, assuming
Teka
legal.
muna, Attorney Batas, ano yan, sa unang sitwasyon?
Hindi, sa unang sitwasyon na
unang
may
sitwasyon.
unang asawa.
Correct.
Na, may unang asawa na
Nakapagpundar sila.
kaya nga sinabi ko, assuming na nagpakasal na sila, di ba? Nagpakasal sila sa unang asawa,
Yes.
pero namatay yung babae.
Namatay. Correct. Okay.
Ngayon, nagpakasal uli ng pangalawa, si lalaki.
Yes.
Alright?
Okay.
Naipundar yan nung sa unang mag-asawa
Yan.
sila. Yung
Okay.
lalaki at yung
Yes.
asawa.
Yes.
Bago naman yung babae. Alright.
Yes.
Sa
Okay.
ganung sitwasyon, yung ari-ariang naipundar nung mag-asawa, yung unang babae sa buhay ni tatay, hahatiin sa dalawa. 1 million. Okay, 1 million siya,
Okay.
500. Bakit hahatiin? Yung 500, share ni tatay. Yung 500, share ng mga anak ni tatay, tsaka ni tatay, at tsaka nung kanyang
The
mga...
first wife.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I
The
got
first
mixed up.
wife.
The first wife's share, which is also 500,000, will be divided between the father and the children of the first marriage alone.
First marriage. Okay.
First marriage
Bakit
alone. Now,
kasama ang tatay doon?
ano, DJ Philip?
Hindi, si Miss LV yun. Si Miss LV nagtanong.
Attorney, you were saying that if the property is worth 100,000, 500, it should be divided into two, 500 for the father, 500 for the mother, and the mother would go to the children, the children of the first marriage. Bakit?
Correct.
You said kasi, aside from the children, kasama pa din ang tatay doon. Dapat din
Correct.
kasama ang tatay doon. Meron na siya kasiyang sarili na 500.
Sagutin mo, Attorney Batas.
Nangangati buhok ko rito. Tapak naman ito. Miss LB.
Sagutin mo kasi para sa mga nakikinig at nanonood sa atin na ngayon lang ikaw naman.
Okay.
Go.
Ang sagot po riyan nakalagay sa batas Miss LB, sa Civil Code of the Philippines. Pag hinati yan dahil namatay yung isang asawa, pakinggan mo na to. Pag hinati yung property na 1 million, kasi namatay yung isa doon sa unang mag-asawa, hahatiin kagad siya, 50-50. 50 sa nabubuhay, suman siya. Yung 50, share dapat nung nanay o tatay na namatay na. Pero yung share nung namatay na asawa, hahatiin sa tatay, hahatiin sa mga anak. Ang share ni tatay, kapareho ng share ng mga anak doon sa 50% na napunta sa namatay na nanay. Is that clear? That is the law. We cannot do anything about it. Okay? So,
Yes.
kung 4 ang anak at panglima si tatay, okay, simple lang ang hatian dyan. Tigo 100,000 sila doon sa 500,000 shares. So, the father gets 600,000 while each child of the first marriage tigo 100,000 lang. Now,
Right.
namatay yung tatay sa pangalawang asawa. Okay?
Yes.
Sino maghahati doon sa 600,000 niya? May share pa ba yung
Sino
mga anak
pa?
sa unang asawa niya? Meron pa
Yes.
po. Mga anak pa rin sila. Maliwanag po yan. Kaya lang, itong anak sa unang asawa would just be entitled to a share similar to share ng mga anak sa pangalawang asawa. Okay?
What about the second wife? Is she entitled also?
Yeah, the second wife will be entitled to one half of the 600,000. So, 600,000, kahatiin ulit siya. 300,000 goes to the surviving spouse. 300,000 goes to the share of the deceased spouse. Sino magmamana sa deceased spouse na 300? The surviving spouse plus the children sa unang kasal and the children sa pangalawang kasal. Fine and simple. The law is simple if you want to make it simple. All right?
Okay.
Kaya ayaw ko na. Gagalaiti ka dyan, Miss Elvira Gan. O, di ba? O, DJ Philip, ayun, wala tayong oras.
Okay. Oh, wala nang oras.
Sandali lang. Glenn Bagarinaw Urgil, nanonood nga ito. Sige, Glenn, nasagot ko na yun sa'yo. Hindi po pwede, wala tayong pakialam doon sa respondent sa barangay na hindi humarap dahil bungi yung Local Government Code of 1990. Siguro, pag nagkita kayo ni Coco Pimentel sa isang Rotary function, tanungin mo, bakit ninyong inalis yung pagiging default ng mga pinatatawag sa barangay na hindi humaharap? It was his father, the late father, who removed that. Maybe he had a reason. Salamat po sa inyong mga sumusubaybay sa amin, but let's listen first to the word of wisdom for the night. Miss Elvira Gan.
Yes. Eto na. Our word of wisdom for tonight is from Dr. Robert Schuller. He's an American Christian motivational speaker and author. He said, as the weather gets harsher and tougher, it's time to brace yourself. The difficult times are simply temporary, but it is due to those tough and difficult times that you are stronger today. The best part is that you are now tougher today than you were yesterday. And more importantly, you got through it all. Celebrate your strength.
Thank you very much. Celebrate your strength. Indeed. So, maraming salamat po. Ulitin ko lang. Lalo na kayong mga nagko-comment na dito sa program at nagre-react. Yun po yung gusto namin. And we're now starting to show you yung mga comments para nang sa ganon sa susunod pagpasok nyo sa amin dito, you can participate. Who knows? Yung comment nyo might prove to be a fuel for additional legislation. Ibig sabihin, baka mabago natin ang batas sa tinatalakay natin dito. We'll try to make more of this, no? Pag pumasok ka 7:30, puro, or maybe even 7:20 or 7:15 para mas marami. Mas marami po yung mapapakinggan ninyong mga pagtalakay sa mga batas. And I'm telling you, I'm benefiting from DJ Philip and from Miss LV sa kanilang mga incisive questions. Very nice and very good. Salamat po. Salamat din, siyempre, kay Ginoong Ray Cabaraban sa Bukidnon Radio Power FM 94.3, Don Carlos City, Bukidnon. Sa Power FM 90.3, Lake Cebu, South Cotabato. At siyempre, kay Pastor Felix Samuras, Pastora Ching Samuras ng DAX 95.5 JFM sa Dangkagan, Bukidnon. And Ginoong Joylyn Tuwan sa DXMJ 90.3, Sunrise News FM, Sumilaw, Bukidnon. And soon, DXDL 106.1, Ginoong John Mark Lintuan sa San Fernando, Bukidnon. Salamat po, Ginoong Stanley Yu, for this opportunity to be seen by cable in Coron, Palawan, in Busuanga Island, and the whole of Calamianes Islands in Northern Palawan. Salamat, Ginoong Stanley Yu. Salamat din sa aming website, sa Batas, sa simbahan www.andknk.com. Salamat, mahal na Pastora Kay Sobel, for the event of the day. Salamat, Ms. Elvira Gan. Salamat, DJ Philip Mauricio. At salamat sa Diyos, ang ngalan niyang Jesus.
Amen. Maraming salamat. Attorney Batas Mauricio. Ito na po ang ating mensaheng pang-inspirasyon sa gabi ito, na galing po sa Psalm 143:10.
Amen.
Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your gracious spirit lead me forward on a firm footing. Ikaw ang aking Diyos, ako ay turuan na aking masunod ang iyong kalooban. Ang espiritu mo'y maging aking tanglaw sa aking paglakad sa ligtas na daan. Yan po, ang ating mensaheng pang-inspirasyon sa gabi ito. At lumipas na naman ang isang oras ng pagliliwanag at pagtatalakay ng mga batas. At sa mga naging kaganapan sa buong maghapon na pag-uusapan kinaumagahan at tayo pansamantalang mamaalam. At kung papahintulutan ng poong may kapal, magbabalik ang Kakampi mo ang batas para sa pagpapatuloy ng serbisyong legal. Sa lahat po ng nakinig at nanood sa Bukidnon Radio Power FM, sa Radyo Dabang sa Carmen Cotabato, sa JFM sa Bangkagan Bukidnon, sa DXM JFM Sunrise News sa Sumilo Bukidnon, sa YouTube at ganun din po sa Facebook Live. Maraming salamat, magandang gabi po. Sa kalan ni Atty. Batas Mauricio, ni Judge Angelica Domingo Mauricio, ni Atty. Lenny Mauricio, ni Atty. Erwin Phoenix, ni Atty. Marisa Mauricio Panotes, at ni Atty. Maria Luisa Dominic Domingo Mauricio, na nagpapaalala po sa inyo yung COVID-19 ay nandyan pa rin, kahit maging maingat tayo, parati tayong humingi ng awa, pagpapala at kaligtasan sa lahat ng mga sakuna, lalo na sa COVID-19, mula sa ating Panginoong Heso Kristo. Muli, ito po ang Kakampi mo, ang Batas.
Maraming salamat, DJ Philip. Maraming salamat, Miss Elvira Gan. Ang Kakampi mo ang Batas ay inihatid sa inyo ng Perfect Endings from the kitchen of General Chody Vidoya and Miss J. Viduya. Perfect Endings for perfect strawberry cake and perfect, ano yan? Ano yung pagkain kanina? Perfect what? What was this? What do you call this, Miss LV?
Where? I don't know, pastries.
Pastries, right. Hatid din sa inyo. Inihatid din po sa inyo ng I'm Good. Frozen foods available. Please call Miss Angeli Mauricio at 0917-550-5927 or send your orders through her Facebook account. Inihatid din sa inyo, syempre, ng Mumzilla. We're wondering where to find fresh tuna sashimi and all the others. Meron pong available by tomorrow, Friday, Philippine time. Of course, dito po sa Metro Manila area yan. Please call Miss Municia Franco, 0917-550-5929. Maraming salamat, Miss LV. Maraming salamat, Sambayan ng Pilipino. Problemang legal, karapatan sa batas. Dito na, sa Kakampi mo ang batas.
Katarungan para sa mga mahihirap, kaalaman para sa mga kabataan, kaunlaran ating pagtulungan, kasama mo ang batas, kababayan ko. Kakampi mo ang batas, Pilipinas ko. Nandito na ang batas. Kakampi mo ang batas. Nandito na ang batas. Huwag kang matatakot, kakampi mo ang batas. Layunin maglingkod lagi sa bayang Pilipinas. Katarungan para sa mga mahihirap, kaalaman para sa mga kabataan, kaunlaran ating pagtulungan, kasama mo ang batas, kababayan ko. Kakampi mo ang batas, Pilipinas ko. Nandito na ang batas, kababayan ko. Kakampi mo ang batas, Pilipinas ko. Nandito na ang batas, kababayan ko. Kakampi mo ang batas, Pilipinas ko. Nandito na ang batas.
Problemang legal, karapatan sa batas. Dito na, sa Kakampi mo ang batas. Araw-araw, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 5 ng hapon, oras at araw sa Pilipinas.